When I first started learning Fusion, I went straight to the YouTube, not gonna lie. Most tutorials went way over my head. So I made the video I wish I had back then. The one that gives you a strong foundation and a clear place to start. So let's dive in. If you are on the edit page, you can right click a clip on your timeline and choose Open in Fusion. Or you can place your playhead over the clip and click the Fusion button. Either way, you will land in Fusion with that clip loaded. Now you will see two nodes here, MediaIn 1 and MediaOut 1, connected with a line. The length of this line or where the nodes are placed does not matter at all. The only thing that matters is where the line is connected. I'm talking about these small colorful triangles and boxes on the nodes. So what exactly are MediaIn 1 and MediaOut 1? MediaIn is simply a container that holds your footage from the edit page. MediaOut is the final output. By default, you see it in this right viewer. Everything you build in Fusion lives between these two nodes. MediaOut also sends this final result back to the edit page. So when you go back, you will see your motion graphics right on your timeline. So in short, your footage comes in through MediaIn, you design and animate on top of it, and MediaOut sends everything back to the edit page. Pretty simple. Now, what exactly is a node? A node is just a tool. An artist uses different brushes to paint. A motion graphics designer uses different nodes to create and animate graphics. So how should nodes be arranged? Nodes flow from left to right. This connection line shows the direction of that flow. Let's see this in action. I will select the MediaIn node, and from the toolbar above the node editor, I will click Color Corrector node. Fusion keeps commonly used nodes here so you don't have to search them every time. As soon as I click it, the node is added right after MediaIn. Now our footage is flowing through the color corrector. You can see all its controls in the inspector. You can tweak these to give your footage a new look. If you want to temporarily remove the effect of any node, click this toggle button once, the footage goes back to the original look, and the node turns black. That means it's no longer affecting the image. Click it again to bring the effect back. This is very useful for checking before and after how the changes you made are affecting your image. Now with the color corrector selected, I will add a blur node. You can clearly see the flow now. The footage enters MediaIn, goes into color corrector, then into blur, and finally into the MediaOut. MediaOut is always the last node. Whatever reaches MediaOut is what you see in the viewer and back on the edit page. So how do you control what you preview in these two viewers? When you hover over any node, you will see two small round buttons. The left one sends that node to the left viewer, the right one sends it to the right viewer. You can also select a node and press 1 for left viewer or 2 for the right viewer. At the top of each viewer, you can see the name of the node being previewed. You can even drag a node directly onto the viewer. It looks scary at first, but it does not mess up your node layout at all. Now that the flow is clear, let's talk about these colorful connectors. I will delete these nodes and add a merge node because it's one of the most important ones and it has multiple connectors. Let me manually connect MediaIn to the blue input of the merge and then connect merge to MediaOut. And our footage disappears. That's because it entered the merge in the wrong way. Let's undo that. One wrong connection can break everything. Resolve helps us by color coding these connectors. The yellow input is usually where your main image enters. The white square is where the image exits. But honestly, in the beginning, you don't need to memorize colors. If you hover your cursor over a connector, Fusion tells you what it does. Green is foreground, blue is for the masks. Most nodes follow the same idea: background, mask, and output. If this feels confusing right now, don't worry. You will see it in action in a moment. So how do you connect the nodes in the right way? You can manually connect them using colors, but that's the slowest method. A better way is this. Select the node, then click a tool from the toolbar. Fusion automatically inserts it and wires everything correctly. If the node is not in the toolbar, here is the shortcut. Press Shift plus space, search for the node, and add it. Fusion connects it properly for you. You can also right-click a node, go to Insert tool, and browse by category. This is great when you don't remember the exact name. For example, you might remember you want a blur, then realize you actually want directional blur. There is one more very useful trick. Let's say you want to connect a text plus node to a merge. but you don't remember which connector to use. Hold Option or Alt, drag the output of Text Plus node onto the merge, drop it in the middle, and release. Fusion shows you a list of inputs. Pick one and done. This is extremely helpful for beginners. At this point, you are ready to build something simple and practical. In my opinion, every beginner should start by creating a basic shape and text. It's fun and it teaches you the core node workflow. To create a shape, we need two nodes, a shape node and a background. Connect the rectangle to the background. You won't see anything yet because it's not part of the main flow. The background node doesn't have a yellow input, so we can't connect it directly. That's where the merge node comes in. I will select the MediaIn and add a merge. Now I will connect the background output to the green input of the merge. Boom, the rectangle appears on top of the footage. The rectangle node has no color controls. The color comes from the background node. So select the background and choose a color in the inspector. Select the rectangle node and resize it using on-screen controls. You can round the corners, increase the radius for a modern UI look, lower the level slightly if you want some transparency. You have just created a clean lower third bar. Let's add some text. Grab a Text Plus node and type something. Instead of manually adding another merge, just drag the Text Plus output onto the previous merge output. Fusion automatically adds a new merge and connects everything. Style the text, choose a font, color, size, and place it on the rectangle. And you have just built a modern lower third. Now let's talk about masking, because you will use it everywhere in Fusion. You have actually already used masking. The rectangle node is plugged into the blue input. These rectangle, ellipse, and polygon nodes are often called shape nodes, but technically they are mask nodes. If I disconnect the rectangle from the background color fills the entire screen. By default, nodes affect the whole image, but when you connect something to the blue input, the effect is limited to that shape. If I use an ellipse, the color stays inside the circle. You can also invert the mask with one checkbox. Let me clean up the node tree. You will notice even MediaIn has a blue input. If I plug a rectangle into it, you instantly get a cool masked effect. Or connect text to it, and boom, you have created the classic video inside text effect just by understanding masking. Working with nodes is very flexible. You can copy and paste nodes just like files on your computer. Let's say you refined this capsule bar and want several copies for bullet points. You don't need to rebuild it each time. Copy the nodes and paste them. Then connect them into the node tree. At first, you won't see the copies because they are stacked. Use the merge node center Y to offset them. But later, if you want to change the color, you would have to change each one manually. That's where the instances come in. Delete the copies, copy the original nodes again, but this time choose Paste Instance. You will see green lines connecting them to the original. These are clones. Paste a few more and connect them as before. Offset them using their merge nodes. Now change the color on one background node, all of them update together. In the inspector, you will see green outlines around controls. That means they are linked. If you ever want to break a link, right-click a control and choose de-instance. Finally, if you don't want multiple nodes cluttering your workspace, there is another option. Select the background node, press Shift plus space, and add a duplicate node. Set the number of copies and offset them using center X or Y. Now one node controls everything. I hope you can see how powerful Fusion is once the basics click. If this helped, give the video a like and subscribe for more videos.